Son of a gun! That there's two parts to it. It's supposed to be one part. You see?
Yeah.
So my cat was shaking like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that doesn't do well. So I think the garage, I can go. I can see the wheel going like that.
Oh my God. That's crazy, man.
Oh, it's on the rack there.
No, but you see the break.
It's a piece that is. That's one piece.
Oh my God. Oh shit.
I've never seen that before.
Oh, the guy was from there, I've never seen that before.
What's your
Was there any other damage?
Not yet.
Wow. Okay,
That's amazing.
let's get started. So Kieran, so everybody knows, he has been working on a DARPA project for, was it last 2 years? Yeah. So the project is to really build out the modeling capabilities, which we know a lot about here because of stuff that we gleaned from, which work with Eddie Gillenblatt on modeling radiation effects and then flow effects with surface potential model.
Very good.
So you'll see some of that here. And we started doing that with another reliability effect called bias temperature instability. And so we've been working closely with a student who used to be here, but now he's the research guy with University of Southern California, Ivan Sanchez. Did you know him?
I did.
I met you 2 weeks ago. I didn't want to meet you.
Ivan was?
Yeah, but he didn't.
Was I here?
Yes. You even introduced him to the group.
Right. So he did, but then he knew you back in the old days.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Okay.
So, oh wow, chicken.
No, it's samosas.
Oh.
That's it. You
What's in
passed.
there?
You passed. It's okay.
Yeah.
Potato? Okay, so, and he, so we were doing mostly NBTI work, but the most recent work we had to do with NBTI and then expand it to also include hot carrier and time-dependent data. So, and Kieran's been working a lot of different things, especially with TCAT, but in the most recent, I don't know, last 4 months or something, it's mainly been, he's moved hard on the hot carrier, and he has material that he's going to produce, that he's done his thesis on, plus hopefully papers. So, Kiraneswar, look at it. Kiraneswar. I saw that it was as Sewar, but Swar.
It's Kiraneswar, and thank you, my advisor and all my committee members and my friends. So I'd like to first thank my advisor for being such a guiding throughout my masters, and my committee members, Dr. Kosiki and Dr. Gonzalez, and Dr. Ivan from USC for providing the hot carrier data, and my group members and the DARPA funding agency for their constant support. So the thesis goes like this. First, we are talking about the introduction and the hot carrier injection mechanisms and degradation. What's the difference between long channel and short channel device effect, and then the various models for hot carrier injection, and finally the conclusion. So to start with, a MOSFET, what's a MOSFET? A MOSFET is like a 4-terminal device with source, gate, drain, and substrate, and a gate outside. It is a voltage control source. What that means is based on the voltage applied on the terminals, current flow from source to drain. In other words, carriers flow from source to drain. The main advantages of MOSFET is that it's scalability. So, but the drawback of scalability is the reliability issues because it's because as you shrink the device, the electric field in the device is high, and we face so many problems. And one of them is hot carrier injection. Basically, what's hot carrier injection is carriers that are flowing in the channel get trapped either into the gate oxide or the gate. It is called the hot carrier injection. And there are basically 4 different hot carrier injection mechanisms, and we'll see about that. First one is the drain avalanche. So in this type, when the drain bias is very high when compared with gate bias, a pinch of region forms near the drain. A pinch of region forms near the drain where high field exists. So when the carriers flow from source to drain, they undergo impact ionization, and then this produces electrons and holes. The electrons move towards the gate and the holes move towards the substrate. So therefore, we can use the substrate current as an indicator to see how much drain avalanche hot carrier injection happens. The second type is the channel hot carrier injection. In this, when the source and drain bias are almost equal, when carriers are flowing from source to drain again, at some point in the channel, they undergo a scattering effect. So their momentum, which was initially towards the drain, now gets shifted towards the gate, and the electrons get trapped into gate or the outside. The third mechanism is the substrate hot electron injection. In this, when there is an field exists between the bias and the gate, in general there is no bias. There is the bias substrate is zero bias, but when there is a field between the bias and the gate voltage, the electrons, the carriers that are produced by ionization are pushed away from the bias and they move towards the gate oxide. One thing about this substrate hot electron injection is that its effect in short channel devices is less because as the channel gets smaller and smaller, the carriers that are going back to the oxide or the gate, they get trapped mostly into the source or drain. The fourth type is the secondary generated hot electron injection. In this, as we see the first time, due to impact ionization, electrons are produced. But when the bias is so high, they in turn those generated carriers in turn again undergo impact ionization. So it's like a chain avalanche effect, and those carriers also move towards oxide or the gate, causing hot carrier injection.
So, do you maybe ask questions as we proceed with it?
Yeah.
So why is this becoming more and more of a problem for high-scale devices?
Because the voltage is kept constant and but the device dimension is reduced, so the electric field increases in the device generally. So the carriers that are flowing in the channel gains high energy when compared to the older technologies. So as we see in the last slide, the carriers gain energies, right? But if the carrier gains energy between 1.3 to 1.8 eV, then they can undergo impact ionization, which causes drain avalanche hot carrier injection and the other other 2 types of hot carrier injection. And for an electron to get injected into the gate oxide, it needs an energy of 3.1 eV. It's because the potential barrier between silicon and SiO2 in an NMOS in flat panel condition is 3.1 eV, and for a hot hole it's 4.8 eV. So what can we infer from this is it's more easy for an electron to get trapped in a gate oxide than when compared with the hot holes. Having said that, so what are the effects it causes in devices? What's the negative side of hot carrier injection? So first of all, some of the carriers might get trapped in the gate oxide instead of reaching the gate terminal. Second one is when they try to get into the gate oxide, they create dangling bonds. They break the bonds and they cause dangling bonds. So the impact on device parameters are it changes threshold voltage, subthreshold slow mobility, and transconductance. So first of all, what we can infer from this plot is that throughout this is the plot of gate bias versus gate or injection current in log scale. So what can we infer from this is in all the gate biases, electron injection happens. This is for an NMOS. For all gate bias, electron injection happens, and hole injection happens only at very low gate biases. And then if you see the gate current of the hole and the injection current due to hole are almost similar, whereas it's not the case for electrons. To be precise, when the injection current due to electron is maximum, there is no gate current. So what can we tell from this? The amount of holes that are getting trapped inside the oxide is very less when compared to the amount of density of electrons getting trapped inside the gate oxide.
And is this for an NMOS?
Yes.
And so where are the holes?
Where are the holes? Where the holes come from?
Where's the injection?
The injection, because the holes move towards the source, so mostly the hole injection will happen near the source.
But I thought we were inverted.
No, this is at very low gate bias hole injection.
Okay, so then what is the mechanism of current flow?
Due to due to some of scattering mechanism, the holes which are generated.
No. How low of a gate bias do you think? Am I below threshold?
Yes, this is like this for older technology, and
What is the mechanism of current conduction?
it's diffusion.
Yes. So therefore
no impact on.
Yeah, why don't you draw the MOSFET up here and draw for me a cut line from the gate metal to the body. And we're going to talk a little bit. Draw it bigger so everybody can see it. That's bigger. That's big enough. All right, so first thing I want you to do is just draw right down the middle, have a different color. We have so many options there. How is that? Yummy? Is that yummy? Is that good? Right down the middle.
Yes.
All right, now draw for me a band structure of the device when I'm a little bit above it, yeah, but I'm less than threshold. And I guess I'm gonna have a big drain bias, right, or relatively speaking. VD equals VGS, so it's, and go ahead and draw for threshold. What's the direction of the E field if I've applied a bias that's...
No, I have to change that.
So, and this I find this to be such a puzzling slide. The holes, like, what's the direction of the field at the interface? I mean, where's the source of the holes? You say it's the silicon.
Yes.
There are holes, and what's the direction of the field right at the interface? Which way is it pointing?
Field, like the transverse field.
Yeah, towards the gate.
Yes, the transverse field will be towards the.
Look at it closely, right? What's the field relationship to EI, for example, or EC? Write it out. The electric field's relationship to the intrinsic energy. What's the relationship? E field equals what?
E field equals minus
You can do proportional, you don't need to add all the factors, but is it EI and is it minus or is it electric field? I mean, what is Poisson's equation? Can you write up Poisson's equation?
No, it's like related to
So
charge.
what's the relationship between charge and electric field? That's
It's
called,
it's
otherwise
these-
known as Gauss's law.
It's these.
Yeah, that's the, okay. That, and that's that E, is that E field? Or is that
Yeah.
energy?
E field,
No,
potential energy,
no. What's Gauss's law?
the amount of charge.
No, the equation for Gauss's law. Charge is equal to what? How is it related to the electric field?
Is the simple order. Yeah, it's d by d.
And write it out. Now, I hate that, is E field. I like to have a script E to denote E field, but instead of E. How am I going to distinguish E from energy?
Okay.
And is it negative or is it positive?
For this, it's positive.
All right. So that's E field, that E, okay. And now how's that related to energy?
It's, energy.
That's potential.
Yes.
And what has potential related to energy?
Potential and energy, like negative side.
All right, so given that, and what kind of, the Venn diagram, what kind of energy are you talking about? Are you talking the EF energy, or are we talking EI energy, or EC? Which energy are we talking about? When I was saying relationship between voltage and energy. The EI, EC and EI and EV are all parallel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
EI.
So we only need to consider one of them. It's called EI. What about what's the relationship between is the energy we're talking about EI or is it EF? The Fermi level.
EI.
Okay. What is the relationship between? So why don't we get EI in this equation here? And what's the relationship between voltage and EI?
Between voltage and
What is it that we always do in the class when we try to plot EI?
we put minus of potential.
Minus. Let's put minus. So
So this, I know this one's
easy. Why would you change that?
That's almost good.
That's Gauss's law.
okay. So this is equal to minus.
Well, voltage is equal to what? EI. Well, V and EI, how are they related to each other?
Voltage and it's like by distance.
Just V equals, don't be lazy, do it.
V equals minus d EI.
That's not a differential relationship.
DEI by x.
How do you do, it's the holes, but this has gone into a discussion of some things that you should know. Voltage is related to the intrinsic energy in what way? Is there a differential relationship?
No, it's the negative.
Then write it.
That's it.
Over to you. So therefore, if I replace that into there, you get that almost right, but no, you get it right. You get the EI right,
Yes,
but what do you have to do with the minus?
minus will become plus.
And then you need 1 over Q if you want to be, that's not B, it's EI, right? Okay. So given this, and given the way you've drawn the band structure, which direction is my electric field under this condition? At the interface.
I think it's it goes towards the gate terminal.
Look at your equation, look at your relationship between the electric field. Which direction is EI pointing? What's the slope of EI at the interface? Is it positive or negative? What's the slope of EI at the interface? On the silicon side.
Slope
EI at the interface. Positive or negative?
Oh, it's positive.
Okay, so then what's the electric field at the interface?
So
Which direction is it pointing?
it must be positive.
Which direction is it pointing? The vector. Then draw an arrow that's pointing that direction. Okay. Now, which way is the hole going to move if it sees an electric field?
Should move away from it.
So where the hell are you getting this hole injection from? I mean, what's sucking the hole into the oxide if it's being pushed away?
From what I know, it's like because of the transverse electric field, the band bending happens like in this. So in this, the EV bends.
I think it's bullshit. That's what I think. I think this was something that, where did this guy even come up with this thing? I think I saw that book, I don't believe it. Or that VGS is negative.
No, it was positive.
How do you know? It's not on the slide, and it's not on the figure.
I will refer that.
Anyway, I don't know where they get injected, how they get injected, where they even came from. There's nothing on this figure you can tell me what the magnitudes are. So what is the take home from this figure?
Electron injection is electrons getting trapped in the oxide is always high when compared with holes getting trapped in the
What about the relationship between the injected electrons and the actual gate current that's measured?
Injected electrons peaks when the gate current drops to zero in between at a mid gate bias, whereas the gate current peaks when VD is equal to BC.
What do you mean by mid-gate?
Like at mid gate bias in the sense like at some point as we increase the gate bias, the gate current drops to zero.
Mid-gate bias.
Not mid gate bias, but as we increase the gate bias.
So the injected carriers is maximized at what gate bias? I mean, you can't see it exactly.
Yeah, it's like when the gate current is very less. It's like
okay, but also what is the gate? What is the gate voltage relative to the drain voltage?
it is less. It's
How much less? Roughly.
roughly 2/3 or half.
Okay.
Because for substrate current that's comes.
Great.
So having said that, as we see, like some of the electrons get trapped in the gate oxide. So those are the electrons that get trapped, and we denote them as like oxide trap charges. And the other type of traps that are caused by hot gas injection is the NIT, which we'll see later. So the thing with the oxide trap charges is their contribution to the device characteristics is like constant, which means that they are independent of the bias supply. And in an NMOS, the the oxide trap charges is mainly due to hot electrons, as we saw in the last slides. The next type of traps created are the interface traps. When hot carriers try to get injected into the gate oxide, they create some dangling bonds, and these dangling bonds can capture and release electrons based on the power supply. So there are two types of interface traps, acceptors and donors. It's generally a convention that above the intrinsic Fermi level EI are acceptors and below are the donors. So what acceptors are, when they capture an electron, they become negative charge, and when they don't, they remain neutral. And the donor is like when they give out an electron, they become a positive charge, and they remain when they have the electron, they remain neutral. So if you see in this condition, it's a flat band condition, and if you see in this, the all the donor atoms below EF will have the electron. So the contribution due to this is 0, whereas the donors between EI and EF are empty, and so their contribution is plus. On the other hand, acceptors above EI are empty, so they don't contribute any charge. On the other hand, when the inversion starts to happen, all the donors below EF, all the donors below EF will be filled, and some of the acceptors also will be filled. For instance, this particular acceptor will be filled, and so their contribution is negative. Whereas the acceptors above EF is empty, so the contribution is 0. So that's why we can say, based on the bias applied, the contribution due to interface charge varies. And then in an NMOS, both hot holes and hot electrons contribute to interface charge generation. Whereas in fixed charges, it's only due to hot electrons.
So go back to this figure again. If I had a uniform distribution of interface traps, I had no NOT at all, but I had negative charge at the interface or positive charge
This
or
one?
neutral. Yeah.
Negative. So those are the two types of traps caused due to hot carrier rejection. Its impact on device parameters are so as we see, the electrons get trapped in the gate oxide, and in the inversion region, only the acceptor region, only the acceptor traps contribute to only the acceptor traps contribute. Therefore, the net effect is the negative charge in the oxide. So what it does is we have to apply more bias to produce the same amount of electrons that must be present in the carrier, which means the threshold voltage increases when compared with the pre-stress. If you see here, there is this clear change. This is the pre-stress and post-stress condition.
Is it data?
Yes, data. This data.
What was the stress condition?
The gate bias and drain bias are both at 2 volts.
Can you put those? Just label the terminal voltages on the structure so we all can. And that's the only one in the data that you have, right? Well, actually, you change it. You have some data which changes it. So, but you always have a situation where VG and VD are equal to each other, correct?
Yes, for all.
In this case, it's 2 volts.
It's yes.
For how long?
This is for 8250 seconds.
8250 seconds.
So the device was stressed for 8250 seconds, and the stress condition was both the gate bias and the drain bias was 2 volts.
Room temperature.
Yes.
Okay. 2.5 hours.
So if you see in this equation, this is the threshold voltage equation, and these are the fixed trap and interface trap. Both these are negative, so we can see the threshold voltage increases. The next is the threshold slope.
Wait, go back. Both those are negative, so we see the threshold voltage increases.
Yes.
Oh, because the Q naught and the QIT are negative.
Yes.
It's minus.
Minus.
Okay.
As we seen previously, oxide traps doesn't depend on, like, it's independent of bias supply, whereas interface traps depends on the bias supply. So capacitance can be associated with the interface traps, and it is called CIT. So the subthreshold swing can be given by this formula, and the interface traps increases, the capacitance increases. Therefore, the subthreshold slope decreases. This is the plot in the log drain versus gate voltage for the pre-stress and post-stress, same condition. And this is the slope condition from 0.1 to 0.4. If we see that the for the pre-stress, the slope is higher compared with this.
But I want to talk a little bit about the units, log, some thresholds. What is that? You're just taking a log of that guy?
Log of this guy. The first I'm
Log of S?
No, I'm taking first. Actually, this is swing, so it will be log of 1 by S.
Okay, let's just talk a little bit about, stay in the subthreshold region. There is a relationship between drain current and gate voltage.
Yes.
And if you take the log of it, it seems to be a linear relationship, right?
Between.
Well, if I look at it, it looks like in the where is the subthreshold region on the okay. Okay, so we'll go over here, or you can go here. You guys want your next getting tweaked? Okay, drain current. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, plot that the slope in that region. Right? You know, the characteristic of log of drain current versus gate voltage in that region. Oh, there you go. ID. Okay, and then so, there you go. Good. So it's linear.
Yes.
So log of ID is equal to K times G over, you know, I mean, it's log of ID, actually ID is equal to AE to the VG, beta VG. Let's write that then. So ID, something like that. Over times beta. That's fine. Okay, so the log, can we express the log of these with what given equation? Good. So is beta what you're plotting?
One by.
1 over beta.
No. This is beta. Yes.
Beta.
Yes.
Huh.
Log of beta.
All right. Can you tell me well, what ID is the best?
16 millivolts per decade.
Well, beta, ideally, the best it can be is 1 over VT, I think, right? Best it can be.
Like 60 millivolts
Per decade.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sense of that number relative to 60 millivolts per decade. How can we get to that number from, when you've got, I don't know, let's say 10 of the, in the pre-stress condition, you get 10 to the minus 7. Is that 80 millivolts per decade? Is that, how do I get that, the number per decade from that number there? You put it up there. So I don't know how to do it. I look at that.
It's too late, my friend.
This was
I had a giant lunch. Stop jerking off on the donut. I had a giant lunch. I never had a samosa. Never
and then there's no coffee. Well, if that number is 1 over beta, how do I get per decade from that guy? It means I have an increase. I'm comparing two currents that are a factor of 10 different, right?
Yes.
So it's log of 10 is equal to delta VG times beta, I believe.
So log.
Well, I mean, think about this guy here. You have the log of ID. So there's two currents, right? ID1 and ID2. But they're a factor of 10 different.
Yes.
So, but just do rise over run. So I've got my slope beta times VG2 minus, write it down, beta times VG2 minus V1 equals log of ID2 minus log of ID1. Right? That's pretty simple, rise over run. But if I tell you that ID2 and ID1 are a factor of 10 apart, what does that thing on the right become?
9.
Well, log of what?
10 by 1. So 10.
Log of 10.
Yeah.
And the natural log or the natural log? So what's the natural log of 10? I can do it right now. That's how I got this. I got it out. 2.3. If they're 10 apart. So that's per decade. Then you would have 2.3 there. And then what's beta normally?
16.
Ideally, it's 16. No, beta is normally what is 1 over VT, right? The best you can be. The best you can be is 1 over VT. So therefore, the delta VG, so let's just say delta VG is equal to by beta, and beta is 1 over the best it can be is 1 over VT. So that's why 2.3 divided by or times 0.026 is 60 millivolts. That's the best. All right. So you have 10 to the minus 7, and you think that's 1 over beta?
Yes, that
Can't be, because that would be.
No, beta is the slope, right?
I don't think it is.
Beta is the slope, so it's 1 by beta. No,
that's
it's
way
beta.
too small.
It's beta.
That's also too small. Beta should be larger than 1. I wonder if you took the log. I don't know what that is. 10 to the minus 7. So I'm not gonna. I need to know what that is. Yeah, but those values. What are the units? Why did you get 10 to the minus 7? I don't know.
I found the difference of the log of the drain current and plotted in the log threshold slope.
The difference in the log.
Like ID1 minus ID2.
Okay, without the log.
Yes,
Okay.
by VG1 minus.
Okay. All right.
So I plotted this to get the slope for all the bias, and then I plotted this.
Okay. All right. So that could be better presented. And then that's the inverse subthreshold slope, or is that the subthreshold slope?
This one?
Yeah.
This is the swing. So one
That's the swing. So that's 1 over the
yes,
subthreshold.
1 bias.
And what's CIT?
Is the capacitance associated with the interface traps.
Okay.
Similarly, the mobility decreases because of the Coulomb scattering. Mu naught is the mobility before stressing, and mu after stressing. Alpha is the empirical coefficient. And we see that as NIT increases, the mobility decreases. And then in the transconductance, in this equation, threshold transconductance is basically how much current changes with respect to the gate voltage, and it gives what's the gain of a MOSFET is. So if we see in this, the threshold voltage increases and the mobility decreases. So both these parameters cause the increase, and we can see that in the pre-stress and post-stress condition. The blue one is the post-stress where the transconductance decreases.
Where's your threshold voltage with this technology? What is the threshold voltage?
It's around 0.35.
Okay.
So from that, now we are seeing like what's the difference between what's the effect of hot carrier injection in long channel device and short channel device. So to see that, first we'll consider where is the defects are located in a device. So first, before stressing, we measure the drain bias versus drain current characteristics, and this is given by the formula pre-stress. Then the device is stressed. This is the source and the drain. Then after stressing the device for a certain time, in the normal mode where the source and the drain remain as it is, we measure the drain current and drain bias characteristics. We see that when we see the characteristics at higher drain bias, the post-stress forward mode reaches almost the pre-stress current. The reason because is when we increase the drain bias, a pinch of region is formed over me and the drain, and high electric field exists. So the carriers in the channel get swept across the pinch of region. Therefore, due to the defects are less, and that's why we can see that at a higher stress, post-stress forward mode reaches pre-stress.
Get over there and point more clearly to what you're talking about, because that's very confusing. normal mode is the forward mode?
Yes, forward mode and the
Okay. So,
in that
so pre and post forward mode are actually coming together at higher
drain
drain bias.
bias.
Why?
Because due higher drain bias, pinch-off region exists near drain, and due to high electric field, the carriers get
Wait, but as I increase the drain bias, what happens to the location of the pinch off?
it gets towards the source, more and more towards the source.
Okay.
So the carriers get swept from from the start of the pinch off to the drain. So if the defects are located in this near the drain alone, then the impact can't be much seen on the device, and that's why we are seeing the post forward mode the current reaches the same.
What is to the kind of take it to the extreme? What is the lateral electric field in pinch off region? Is it big or small? And is it really big or really small?
It's really big.
Really big, right? So maybe it's not even impacted at all by those defects.
Yes.
Inside that no man's land. Okay.
That's the reason the current reaches the pre-stress condition. Whereas in the reverse mode, where the source get interchanged, the after stress. So the defects locate now near the source. And now if you increase the drain bias, pinch-off region exists here, but the defects in this region. Therefore, the effect of traps will be seen always on the device characteristics, and that's why we see the post-stress reverse mode is never equal to the pre-stress condition. So what we can control from this is the defects are always located near the drain, and from this paper, it has been reported that defects spread from 50 nanometers to 200 nanometers from the implementation. So what are the problems faced due to defect localization? First problem is that, as we said later, to find the amount of traps individually, how much offset traps are there and how much interface traps are present. So for that, we use a technique called mid-gap voltage technique, and in this technique, it assumes that the subthreshold slope changes only if the defects are spread uniform across. If the trap charges in the oxide are localized, then even then they can cause a little change in subthreshold slope. Then the threshold, if the defects are spread uniformly across the channel, the threshold voltage at every point will be the same. Whereas if it's localized, then there is no point in telling the device has one threshold point. So where the defect has, the threshold will be higher. At the defect-free region, the threshold will be less. So in order to overcome these problems, we use two transistor models. So what this is in T1 is the transistor, T1 is the defect-free and T2 is the defective region. So if the defects are spread for instance 100 nanometer, then the channel length of T2 will be 100 nanometer, and the defects will be spread uniformly across. And the length of T1 transistor will be the original length of the transistor minus T2. Now, so what we can conclude from this model is that before strong inversion starts, the characteristics of the device is mainly determined by the T2 transistor, that is the defective transistor. But after the strong inversion starts, the T1 transistor contributes major part. But because in our data, all the data that we have obtained is for a short channel device where the channel length is of 30 nanometer. So that means the defect is spread uniformly across, and we don't need to use this two transistor models. Okay. Now we will see the hot carrier, the models existing for hot carrier injection. The first type is the called Lucky Hot Electron model, and this is based on calculation of four independent probabilities, and thereby predicting how much carriers get trapped in the outside or rays get dumped. We see in this, when a carrier is moving from A to B, it needs to gain an energy of for hot electron injection, it needs an energy of 3.1 eV. So if the electron gains 3.1 eV, then the probability of that happening is given by 2. And then once it reaches the point B, now the momentum is towards the plane. Now it needs to get shifted towards the oxide. So a collision happens. The probability of this collision happening is given by P2. P2. And then once that happens, now the electron needs to reach from the point B to C without any further collision. So that if it undergoes any further collision, the energy loss will happen, then it can't get injected. So probability of that happening is P3. Because these three events are like independent, the product of these three probabilities will give how much and approximately how much carriers get trapped in the gate oxide, like get injected into the gate oxide. And P4 is the probability that an electron once get injected into the gate oxide reach the gate terminal. That probability is given by P4. So all the four products will give the gate current, and the first three products will give how much carriers get injected into the gate oxide. But the problem with this model is, in addition to hot electron injection, because the oxide thicknesses are reduced, tunneling also happens. So tunneling electrons also contribute to gate current. The next model is the substrate current model. The first we'll see how substrate currents are produced. So as we see, like when we increase the drain bias, due to pinch-off region, high electric field exists, and because of that, the carriers get enough energy, and they can cause impact ionization. Once the carriers undergo impact ionization, electrons move towards the gate and holes move towards the substrate. So from this plot, we can see this bell-shaped curve. It's because the substrate current depends on two parameters, namely concentration of carriers in the channel and the gate bias. And the electric field. So at low gate bias, the concentration of the channel is very less. So as increased gate bias, it increases, and it means after a certain region, because the gate bias is increased, the lateral field decreases. So it again comes back to 0.
What? As the what? As the gate increases.
Just lateral electric field decreases.
What?
Because the difference between VG and VD is high, so the pinch-off region starts to decrease.
Lateral field decreases. I don't know, because the lateral field, so draw for me okay, now cut line number 2, let's go green. Green. Draw and go from source to drain, right? Surface. And draw from me the band structure for this kind of saturated condition. How about over here, cover with Vincent with So I've got a channel, and I've got a fairly high drain voltage. So draw for me the band structure. Gotta go the other way. Go the other band structure. We're going to go up and the end. That's it. Now we go from source to body, source to channel. And then where does it go? What if I have a big drain voltage? There you go. Okay. Not the previous curve. We'll hold this around. We'll search for that. Okay. So back to this, what we're talking about, the field is going over. Where's the drain in the body junction?
This is
yeah. So which direction is the field where we're talking? The field you're talking about, where's the hot injection occurring?
hot injection current happens here.
Okay, and so which direction is the field? The direction of the field. Okay, and you're telling me that as the gate voltage increases, that field goes down?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Like if the gate bias and the drain bias are same, then
Oh, but that's already done. That band structure is set. That's your lateral field. Why don't the increasing of the gate voltage?
if you increase the gate bias, the pinch off will be for a given drain bias.
The gate voltage increases.
The difference between VG and VD is high, so a channel forms for pinch off decreases.
You're adding more carriers. And it doesn't change it doesn't change that potential level. But it does change the Fermi level, right?
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't really change Fermi level because you're a strong version, but it does add more electrons to the surface.
Near the drain.
But why would that reduce the number of carriers that are connected? The hard question.
It's because the carriers don't get enough energy to undergo the
My guess is that it reduces the field, the vertical field at the interface, and that's why you get less.
pinch off causes later energy. So if pinch off decreases, then later the peak also decreases.
And it's easy enough to check. How would you check with TCAP?
I can make a pretty organization model.
Well, you don't have to even do anything with mechanism. You can just look
I
at
can
fields.
increase the bias index.
So you could run a TCAP, and you could look at what the lateral field was. For fixed VD in different gate biases, right? Wouldn't that be a nice thing to do? Okay.
So like in the substrate current model, what we do is like in order to create impact ionization, the electron again needs to travel in a carrier and needs to gain energy. So that property is given by P1. And having the probability, now if we find how much carriers undergo that probability, then we will have the total substrate. The drain current gives like how much carriers are present in the channel. The probability of P1 and the drain current will give the substrate current, and C is a proportionality constant. Similarly, based on this substrate current model, we can find like how much electrons or holes can be involved in creating interface traps, because where phi I here is the interface traps energy. Phi I, if we replace phi I by phi I TE and where interface traps required, and holes like energy required by the holes to create interface traps, then it can be told that these are the amount of electrons and holes contribute to interface trap. Now, using those two models, like those two models are for hot carrier injection. Now we will see the analytical model that we have derived here for hot carrier degradation. In general, the existing hot carrier degradation models calculate the shift in threshold voltage between pre-stress and post-stress condition and the lifetime of the device. So what we do in this analytical model is calculate the density of trapped charges in the oxide and the interface traps separately. And then using that, we calculate the lifetime. We use that for lifetime prediction. Because the substrate current has the because drain avalanche is the major contribution for hot carrier injection, and substrate current can be used as a good indicator for drain avalanche. We use substrate current to this model is based on substrate current. So the substrate current given by this equation. If we see that if the device is stressed for like 8 to 50 seconds, then the total amount of holes generated can be given by the product of substrate current and that particular time. So a correlation can be there is a correlation. There will be a correlation between the amount of holes generated and the amount of traps generated. So Therefore, we use that proportionality, and then K90 and K90 are the constants, proportionality constants. Because this function is based on drain current and the time, it can be said that this analytical model is a function of both stress, bias, and time. Having that model, now we need to parameterize these values. For instance, we have this parameter A and K0 and K90. So these parameters need to be found out, and also the analytical model needs to be validated. So for that, we use the data. In what we do is that we stress the device for 5 different bias conditions, and for each condition, we measure the amount of traps generated from the data. And then we compare with the analytical model, and so we can validate. In order to calculate how much density of traps created, how much density trap charges and interface traps are present for each bias condition, we use the charge separation technique. So what charge separation technique is? As we've seen before, the threshold voltage shift is due to 2 components. One is due to trap charges, and the other one is due to interface traps. So we use that in this method. So the charge separation technique used here is mid-gap voltage technique. And to use this, we need substrate doping and the oxide thickness of the device. And then it assumes that the electron density is uniform across the channel, and it is only at the interface. Seen because this is a short channel device, the oxide traps are uniform. And as we told before, acceptor-like traps are present above EI, and donor-like traps are present below EI. So
walk us through this very carefully.
Okay. For the interface traps, there is a condition called mid-gap voltage. Mid-gap voltage is the voltage at which EI touches the EF.
Draw it out. You got a band structure right there. You can just do that, right? Okay.
So in this condition, EI touches EF, and this is 5B, bulk potential. So when this happens, there is no contribution due to interface traps, because all the acceptor traps are empty, and all the donor traps are filled. So what we can tell is the contribution due to interface traps is 0. So what are the
Under what conditions?
In mid-gap condition?
Okay, keep repeating it. I want people to understand.
Therefore, in mid-gap condition, the change in voltage between pre-stress and post-stress, this change is only due to oxide traps.
So why is that called the mid gap? How do you step by step, what is it that you have, and why do you use mid gap?
Why do we use mid-gap?
Why do you know that this point that you are giving us?
I don't know what the voltage is.
Okay. So this is the drain current in the subthreshold is given by this equation, where phi s is the surface potential. If we see in this condition, for the mid-gap voltage, the surface potential is equal to the bulk potential. So we substitute phi s equal to phi b.
Which we know.
Yes.
What's the equation for 5B?
KTQ.
Write it up.
Where N is the substrate doping and Ni is the intrinsic concentration. So we can find, if we substitute this, we can find the drain current for the mid-gap drain current for both the pre-stress and the post-stress condition. So if we find the corresponding voltage, we can find the VMG for pre-stress and post-stress, and the difference gives delta VMG.
Because you know what INV is.
Yes.
What bias should we apply to the drain the source in order to make this measurement best?
For all this measurements, a drain balance of 50 millivolts is something.
Okay, but if you have 50 millivolts, I mean, there's a drain bias tendency, right? Would we like to get rid of that or keep that in the measurement?
we generally use a lower drain bias.
Look at it.
There
Would
is
you rather do 1 than 1 minus e to the beta BD?
if beta V increases, then it's just 1.
Well, if BD increases, what happens to e to the minus beta BD,
It decreases.
right? What is beta anyway here? Roughly.
It's the same thing. 1 1 by K by Q.
Yeah, there's an M in there, I think, but anyway. So therefore, would you rather multiply something by 1 or 1 times something that I don't really know? Or 1 minus something that I don't really know? I'm multiplying something either by 1, I'm doing IV characteristics that I'm trying to get a value that's good. But I'd rather have it something that, the thing I'm looking for, would I rather have it something times 1 or something times 1 minus something? What would you say? Would be a more solid model.
It should be this, but
Should be what?
like
I give you
it should
the
be at lower drain bias. But
Why? Who told you that?
It's all measurements are done.
Well, if somebody asked you to jump off a cliff, would you do it? What do you think?
Yes,
Only if you told me.
yes,
Show you the.
yes. Heat it up.
Eat the donut. Huh? You really can eat that. You really can eat that. Mhm. Look at it. If I increase beta's around maybe 40 millivolts. If I increase VD to like 150 millivolts, or 0.2 volts, a little bit above 50 millivolts, then I guarantee that e to the minus thing's out of there. And I don't have to worry about, the possibility of beta kind of fluctuating with stuff. And I certainly take away a temperature dependence. So it's better to have a little bit higher VD when you do that measurement. Does it make sense?
It makes sense.
And explain to me why it makes sense. Why do I want a little bit higher? Why is 200 millivolts better than 50?
Because we do the drain bias dependence on this.
Right. And the drain bias dependence has, that beta BB has an inherent thermal dependence, because beta is the temperature dependent. So if I just raise BD up a little bit, I kill it.
Yes.
Get rid of it.
But what's the
Because you want
okay.
ID to be something that's solid. You don't want to have a bunch of thermal dependence. You want to set the equation. So getting rid of dependence on drain bias is a good way to do it. People don't know that enough, but you should go to a higher drain bias when you do that measurement.
Because I was just the data we obtained was at 15 millivolts. So
Is that true, or these characteristics, was it 50 millivolts? Was it, or was it the stress condition?
no, the devices were stressed, and after
Oh, then they tested with a small BD.
yes,
It's okay. 50 millivolts is okay, but if you want to do this technique, then a little bit higher drain voltage, just a little. Keeping it at triode is still good. 50 millivolts may not be necessary.
so having found the mid-gap drain current and mid-gap difference in mid-gap drain voltage, we can find because we have found that at mid-gap the contribution due to interface charge is 0. So whatever this difference is equal to the delta V NOT. From the previous equations, we have seen this from this relationship. Similarly, we can find the threshold voltage shift also. For the threshold voltage shift, phi s is equal to 2 phi b. So we substitute this, and for the pre-stress and post-stress, we find threshold voltage, and the difference gives the difference in threshold voltage. So using these two values, we can find delta V NOT and delta V NIT. And using these formulas, we can calculate the density of oxide traps and density of interface traps. So, having seen that having seen that technique, we'll see how it's done in the data. So first, the data is obtained for 5 different devices at 5 different biases. Because of process variability, there were little difference in the doping concentration and gate oxide thickness. Using PCAD, the doping concentration and oxide thickness were found out for each devices because it is needed for calculating the drain current in this, because Cox is there and Na is there. Once we found out that, then we found the mid-gap current, threshold current, and the corresponding voltage both in pre-stress and post-stress condition. After this, once we obtain these following voltages, we can find the traps, how much traps are present for each bias conditions. So the amount of traps are listed in the table below. And if we, in order to validate like the accuracy of this model, we use PCAD. If we see in this in this plot, this is the gate bias versus log drain current plot. In this, the previous data and PCAD matches that shows that our doping concentration, the oxide thickness that are derived are matching. And similarly, after the process, we incorporated the traps into the code of the Silvaco in DCAD, and again it matches well. So this shows that the density of traps being extrapolated from the data is right. This little difference in this figure is due to different mobility models existing in DCAD.
Go back to the slide.
This.
So you got these devices. You have the mid-gap and threshold current determined by the threshold equation.
Yes.
Because you obtained a doping concentration and oxide thickness by fitting pre-read characteristics to your data.
Yes.
Okay. And then so you have these currents based on those. Those are analytical currents.
Mm-hmm.
From that, I can pick off the mid-gap voltage pre and post stress. I can get delta mid-gap voltage and delta VTH from that. And then from that, I can calculate my NOT. And then you put that back in and you fit the,
Okay. So that's what we found it.
okay. Yeah. And by the way, and this might be for anybody, normally data is presented as symbols and simulation is presented as lines. So I would invert the symbols and the lines and something like that.
So once we extracted the amount of traps and the amount of traps from the data, now we can use this in the subject current equation and the NOT equation to find unknown parameters. Once we figure out that, then the analytical equation is derived, and
Those are small Q's now. Should those be big Q's? Okay.
So from the analytical model, we found out the amount of fixed trap charges and the amount of interface trap charges. In order to validate again, like we used that. So if we see in this plot, this plot gives the post-stress condition for 1.8 volts stress condition, and this one for 2 volts stress condition. Both of them match pretty well, so which tells that like our analytical model suits pretty much.
So, but hold on, just to walk us through. ISOP is a data that you take.
ISOP data.
Did you get?
No.
Be careful.
No, we derived ISOP because
From what?
from the drain current.
Okay, using this model.
Yes.
So how did you know what A was? Big A.
The parameter figured out data
What data?
from the stressing conditions of life.
Stressing conditions that give you what? What currents?
Drain currents.
Drain current.
Yeah.
So how did you get a drain current? Given this,
So what we first did was we took a particular stress bias condition and figured out the value of KNOT and KNIT.
hold on, before time out, time out. I don't know what A is.
Yes. We started with impact ionization ratio, which was approximately found out to be.
Impact ionization ratio, which is what?
It is the ratio between drain current and the substrate current.
So then you did have substrate current.
No, for the substrate current means
If you had the drain current and you had the ratio of drain current to substrate current, then you did have substrate current.
that substrate that was after that we had for only one condition, like no
That would be enough to give you an A there, right?
not for all biases, because this is a bias.
How did you get big Q?
Big Q.
Big Q is small q here, but it's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Big Q is the product of I sub to
Write it up. Q equals I sub times time. You know what time is.
Yes.
You already gave it to me. So.
8 to 5 minutes.
All right. How did you get Q? Well, you have to get Q, right?
Yes,
How'd you get it?
I substrate.
How'd you get I substrate?
For that, initially we guessed a value for the A using that impact ionization ratio. Because
Well, you had to guess anything. You had a condition, you had a ratio. So at least you could get Q for a given set of conditions, stress conditions. Okay? So then you get I sub from that, and you can get Q
yes,
from that.
yes,
From that, then you pull out what K and OT can,
can I?
right?
Yes.
Didn't have to do any guessing.
No, but this was for only one stress bias.
So assume that the K's changed for a different bias condition.
Yeah, A changes for different biases.
Does K change? K and OT?
No.
Assume that, I don't even see that we needed A. Because you get Q from I sub, and you get I sub from ID times the ratio.
We get Q from I sub.
And I sub from ID divided by the ratio. You never had to get it at all.
But A is a parameter that depends on stress bias, so it's not a constant for all.
But it is when you just have one bias. Right?
No, even then it changes. Like this is for like one stress
So I'm
condition.
just asking you what you did. I mean, I don't think you need, the path that you have here, you don't need A at all, big A. You didn't need it. You had the ratio, right?
We had the ratio.
Okay, and you use the ratio.
Yes, we use the
And
ratio.
then you got something that,
Yes,
and you multiply that by T,
yes,
you
yes,
know what NIT and NOT are.
yes.
So you get K and
K and
OT and
OT,
KNIT. And then you assume that they don't change with different biases.
Yes,
Okay? And then you can get A
yes.
by
That's-
just setting it to 1.6, and then I guess you're gonna have to change it for each bias. Okay. By the way, what is VDS and VD? That, what is that? Isn't it VD? Isn't it?
It is VG minus VT. In this case,
Overdrive voltage.
yes.
So
In
it's
this,
the amount that you're above the overdrive voltage.
yes. And in this case, VD and VG are same, so it's just the VT.
What is this? What is the block down here on the right?
So this is the validation of the analytical model and the data. So the analytical model, that for both the 1.8 and the 2 volts, because we started deriving A from 1.6 volts. I used 1.8 and 2 to check the validity, to check the accuracy and the mass.
Wait, so there's 2 volts. Where's the 1.8?
This is 1.8.
Very small. Doesn't shoot very much. Those, there's barely any changes there.
Yes, you see like in the text reference to so
This is 28 meters and what's it? That'll become substrate.
generally this is like 6 E per 80.
60 to 18. Yeah.
Yes.
So this was the 1.6 K values you got, and then you stuck it back, go back to your data, go flick around.
This one?
You got the Ks from your 1.6,
Yes.
and you stuck it in,
Yes.
and you're lining up your post-stress data on your analytical model that well.
Mhm.
Wow. Did you need the A at all to make that work?
Yes.
No. Why did you need it?
Because A depends on stress bias condition.
Yeah, but in order to get this curve right here, I mean, how did you get this curve? What's the analytical curve right here? What is it?
It is we put this NOD and NID.
Wait, but the curve is a drain curve versus gate voltage. So what's the analytical? Like, how did you create this curve? No,
We put value in TCAD and
it's not. It's an analytical calculation of NOT and NIT, but it's TCAD.
TCAD, yes. It's validated.
But didn't you already know what NOT and NIT were anyway? Because you extracted it from the TCAD. Of course it's going to fit.
No, we didn't. We did for the data.
Yeah, but you're comparing data. That's not an analytical model right there. That's you're basically taking the NOT and sticking it back in. I mean, what's the difference between that and go back to your extraction?
This one.
Yeah,
So in this NOD and NID extracted right from the data.
right.
Okay, so
Those numbers.
analytical model? No,
Yeah.
it's different. So
Oh. At the 2 volts. Well, how could it even be different at the 1.6? I'm confused.
because K and OT I can't fix, and sometimes it
You fix it for 1.6, don't you? But KNOT is fixed, isn't it?
K and OT is fixed.
It's derived from the 1.6, right?
It's actually 1.5 volts, so I need to extrapolate a little bit to find that value.
It's derived from the 1.5.
Yes, to find the 1.6 thing.
Okay. It's derived from 1.5. And then you take that value and then you have a substrate current for the different values of stress voltage. So you needed and then you multiply that by time. Because you extracted how did you get the A for the different stress voltages? How did you get that?
For the first time, we used this from this value,
What value?
like
A lot of values is there.
at 1.5 volts. So
Okay. You got an A.
yes, and we get I sub. So from that we find K and OT and KNIT. KNOT and KNIT are now constant.
And you have an A as well.
For one condition alone.
Right. For the 1.5.
Yes.
Okay.
So but for the other conditions,
Right.
like for 1.8 and 2, we don't know the A.
So you don't know A.
So
that's what you do.
just one parameter we need, so we did the reverse.
Tell me exactly what you do. At 2 volts,
at 2 volts,
you get A.
at 2 volts,
The drain current at 2 volts.
yes.
You have substrate current.
No, I don't know substrate
So
current.
you have the ratio.
No, I don't. So substrate current is the only unknown.
So how did you get A from higher?
First, I find the substrate current.
For which one? Are you running impact ionization in some markup?
No,
Okay. So how at stress voltage of 2 volts do you get either A or substrate current? Doesn't matter. You really need substrate current.
yes.
So how do you get it? At stress voltage of 2 volts.
this NOT and NIT I'm using from the data.
Okay.
So that means I only use only I service unknown. So from that,
How did you get I7 at 2 volts?
I put this NOT from the data.
Okay.
So I know KNOT. So
Oh, that's how you get your I7. So you get your KNOT, you know what your NOT is. Yeah, I'm still a little bit curious as to why the NOTs are different. Because you took the NOT from the data, you got I7 the different bias conditions, and now you're telling me you have different NOTs for analytical
yeah,
data.
but the thing is like for A, like I have individual values of A for different bias conditions. But if I need like an equation or
But you got those from a value of NOT and NIT that you extracted from the data.
yes, but if I put those exact values, then that will be the same. But in order, but like to predict like for other stress biases and conditions, we need a like an equation like how stress biases depends.
Something's fishy.
Like
Something's fishy.
for 2, 1.6 and 1.8, I have A values like some single value, and if I put that, then both the analysis and the data will be the same value. But we just in order to like it's a model, so we need for other stress biases also like for 0.8 and
So you start with an NOT and an NIT that you know from data.
yes,
You use the KNOT and KNIT from extracted at the 1.5.
Mhm.
From that, you take NOT divided by KNOT, and you get a substrate current.
yes,
Okay. Now, and then suppose that's going to be the same. Okay, so you get a substrate current for the different doses. Now it's interesting that were those substrate currents the same?
substrate current is same.
Well,
Yeah.
they won't be the same
Yeah.
probably. Okay, so that's bad right there because they should be the same because they're the actual data. But let's just keep rolling. You start with your data NOT, you're extracting KNOT, you get a substrate current for a 2 volt stress. Then you have the other values, so then you can get an A for the 2 volt stress.
Yes,
Then what do?
I did similarly for all the stress biases,
Okay,
and I found A for all the 5 stress bias conditions.
okay. So now that you got the A,
A, but if I put those A values, then the analytical and data will be the same.
okay, so what do you do?
But I did for like, I derived like an equation,
What
not a
do you
derived,
do?
using Excel, I found what the curve
Curve of what versus what?
of A versus stress bias.
A versus stress bias.
Yes.
Okay,
So A versus stress bias, I got like an equation.
okay.
So if I use that equation, then these were the values that I got.
Still not there. You've got the substrate current,
Okay.
okay, versus stress bias. I got it. Then where do you go from there?
I got stress bias.
No, you got substrate current versus stress bias because you've got an A that depends, and you get all these other values.
Okay, this is
I
A.
understand versus stress bias. So
So
whatever,
it's
sure. Then you can do what? Where do you go from here? Slowly. Do not jump. Step by step.
now I'm trying to form an equation by giant models.
Sure. Got that.
But there was this little deviation, and like in the equation because it can't exact values. Like
So you continue to get an equation, and then what do you do with the equation?
and that equation I put it back,
Okay. You get what?
and then I get the I sum NOT and 90.
You get I sum as a function of stress bias.
Yes.
Okay. Now what? Now what do you do?
Then I find the capital Q. for all these test bias.
And then you calculate
ENM.
NMT from that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's a little bit circuitous and not informative, but I can't fight it right now. I'm picking up. Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, oh.
Favorite slide.
to conclude with, we first talked about various hot carrier injection mechanisms and degradation. Then hot carrier injection models available were studied. An analytical model to calculate the density of traps were formulated and validated using TCAD. So, thank you.
So where would you go from here?
I have to find for different time because I now have data for T equal to 8 to 5 seconds.
I know that Yvonne's got the substrate current in different stress conditions, so you don't have to do what you just did. Because I think that's circuitous that. I think you want to just get his substrate current. He's got it. Jeremy? How's that guy?
Right.
Okay. Right?
Yes, I have seen.
He's got it. You just need that. And that was his whole work.
And then now the stress conditions were same, gate and drain price was same. But
Well, I mean, once you have, I like the idea of using the K. You can, but the thing is that you can get that K now for different stress conditions. Could be changing a little bit. And fitting a model with some kind of interpolation is fine. Stick in your model. But I think there's something weird that you've done here that I'm not buying. So we need to get a part for substrate current. Good. So use the substrate current model. Okay. Right. Oh, that's good. Any